we're only halfway through the year. So these are domains for your grade level. So we're not going to expect them to all be in the mastered yet, hopefully. Hopefully not. Oh, I missed some messages. Sorry, I'm seeing some messages come in. I'm just checking to make sure. Okay.
Carla, if it's okay, I'll monitor chat, and if there's anything that we need to touch base with you at the end, we will. If you want to just keep moving, that's fine.
That sounds good. Okay, all right, sounds good. So, again, like I was saying, if they're in the green, we don't expect them to be in the green here at the end or here at the middle of the year. That'd be more towards where we hope to get them to by the end of the year. So this is showing you where your students are at right now. Good question. What does the E and the S mean? So the E and the S stand for English and Spanish. Are you guys given the test in Spanish? No. Okay. It's kind of cool if you do have students who have Spanish as their first language, and if you give the test in Spanish, you are going to see two circles on this bar. You had one. Okay, good. So you're going to see two circles on here, which is kind of cool because you're able to see then, is it a language barrier that the student is struggling with, or is it more of a skill barrier? So if you had a circle that was white, if you had a circle that was white, that's going to be your Spanish score, and that's going to show you the median scale score for your students who took it. If it's black, then it's in English. Now, if your Spanish score is really high, but your English score is low, that tells me that my student has a pretty good handle on it in Spanish, so they know the skill, but weren't able to show that because of a language barrier. If both of them are low, then obviously it's something that they maybe haven't been taught yet. So that's what we're seeing there with the E and the S, the English and the Spanish versions of the test. It's really neat to be able to see both of those in the same place. There is, when you look kind of in the middle of this, you see a little square with two black bars. Using the STAR program will get you a medium confidence on our part of the scores that we're reporting. So you'll see this down in the bottom here, those boxes I'm talking about, they're kind of in the middle of the chart there. If it had one bar, that would be low confidence, 2 bars is medium, 3 bars is high confidence. So if you're using STAR Reading and STAR Math, it's always going to be medium confidence, always. Because remember, we're telling you overall ability in reading or math when we're looking at this. And we're not testing them on individual skills. So just keep in mind, because we've only got 34 questions, and because it's testing their overall ability, so it's not doing individual probes with only 34 questions, because the test can go above their grade level, at their grade level, or below their grade level. You know, there's no way of testing them on every single skill. So we do have to do some assuming based on how they did on the STAR test, how they're doing on some of these domains. So because we have to do some assuming, this confidence will always be medium. It will always be a medium confidence. So the scores that you're seeing here are always the most recent. Always the most recent. So as you test students, this will always be changing, and that's something really good to know, because you can't go back and customize this. Did you notice you can't customize this like you can a report? The dashboards are always going to be the most up-to-date. So if you want to keep the view that you're looking at right now, if you want to see this, you're going to want to save it. So up here at the top, there's a button that says PDF. You can create a PDF from that, and you can save it or you can print it. But as soon as they test, this is all going to update and you can't go back to the previous one. So just be aware of that. The other thing I wanted to tell you is that this arrow next to your domain actually opens up and you'll be able to see all your students, and then you'll be able to see your individual students and how they're doing in each of those domains. So go ahead and do that. I want to go ahead and just give you a minute or two. If this is new, and it sounds like it is, I want to give you a minute or two to explore this, open up the arrow, see how your kids are doing, and in about 2 minutes, we're going to come back and look at the next step then on this.
Carla, I know you're not really taking questions, but is this an overall picture of an average of any testing that they have done this year?
No, this is just the most recent. Just the most recent. Good question. And I'm happy to take questions. Absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and move on, just so we can get to those growth scores too this morning. There is one more thing I want to show you out here. And some of you may have found it as you were kind of exploring for the last couple minutes, but did you notice, and let me just give you some background here, there's actually 3 levels to this particular dashboard. We're on level 1 right now. We're looking at the domains for your grades. Notice that when you see the domains, some of them might be blue. They might not all be, but most of them probably are blue. Anytime something is blue in our program, it's a link. So if you click on the link, it'll take you to level 2. And level 2 is looking at your state standards. So if you click on one of the domains, you're going to get to the standards, and you're going to be able to see the same information. And again, you're going to have the arrow on there, and you'll be able to open that up and see your kids. So I'd like to give you just a minute or two to look at that as well. And then we'll move on.
Hi, I just had a quick question about this screen.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking at the sixth grade data right now, and
Okay.
so for 5 of the domains, there are the scores, like the percentages. But then for the very last one, statistics and probability, it's just saying cannot be calculated. Does that mean that the sixth grade students haven't been assessed on this past benchmark at all as far as that domain goes?
Yeah, we just may not have, yeah, they may not have gotten anything on that one. We just don't have that data for that particular grade.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and move on then. I'm just going to take a look at this. When I click on... Oh, because you're moving from one big domain to individual standards. So you're looking at two different things. So Amy had a question on why are some of the numbers different. It's because we're looking at two different things, but they're related, but they are, one is domain and one is the standards themselves. All right.
Sorry, thank you for answering that question. This is Amy.
Sure. Sure.
I'm seeing like a large discrepancy between say for example, phonological awareness. I'm seeing a discrepancy between the scores in English and Spanish. And then when I go into that particular standard, I'm not seeing specifically where the difficulty was. Like there's no longer a discrepancy. Like I'm seeing like 98% and 98%, where on the previous screen it was like 77 and 98. Is there anything you might say to that?
So you're seeing English and Spanish. So you've got kids taking both. And then are we looking at the whole class or individual students?
Just a specific student right now.
Okay. So I would say the difference is just that we are looking at two different things. The difference between the domain and the standard. If you want to send me which class you're looking at and which student, I can look at it later and see what I can see with it and email you back about it if you'd like.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. All right. And Amy, when you email me, just include a little note in there that you're giving me permission to go in and look at it. I need that permission to be able to do it. All right. So remember I said there were 3 levels to this dashboard. So we saw the first one, which is domain, the second one, which is standard. And I'm going to circle back really quick. I know I just want to give you a quick idea on what else you could see here, and maybe that's a training we want to do in the future. But with having st360, you folks also have our STAR Custom program. And STAR Custom is the result of a lot of teachers requesting the ability to do probes in STAR. Remember I said STAR Reading, STAR Math, STAR Early Literacy give you overall ability in reading, math, or early literacy skills. We can't do probes with only 34 questions. So STAR Custom does give you the opportunity to go in and choose an assessment that you can give the students just on one particular skill. So if you were to start using that program, you start using the STAR Custom, you would give those probes to the kids, and then there would be a third level here. You'd be able to click on those standards, and then you'd be able to see things at the skill level. We're not able to give you skill level scores